On my media Prime Television, live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, begin today's edition of Prime News. The northwest region of the country, where two persons are reported dead after security forces opened fire at angry protesters decrying the killing of a 7-year-old people branded turtle. Several roads were barricaded with tires burned at major junctions in the city of Bamenda Bokengo. What it tells us more in the following report.
Air pollution is the leading risk factor for pneumonia-related cases and death of all age groups worldwide. In 2019, almost a third of all pneumonia deaths were attributed to air pollution, killing more than 749,200 patients that year. With a child dying every 58 seconds somewhere in the world, household air pollution such as boilers, stove, tobacco smoke, dust, mold and pollen, pesticide, chemical.
That was rather Bokengo Ward's report on world pneumonia. They will rather begin in Bamenda, northwest region of the country, where at least two persons are reported dead after security forces opened fire at angry protesters decrying the killing of a 7-year-old people brandy turtle. Several roads were barricaded with tires burned at major junctions in the city of Bamenda. Bokengo Wadi with details. In the absence of Bokengo,
the leading risk factor cases and death of all age groups worldwide. In 2019, almost a third of all pneumonia deaths were attributed to air pollution, killing more than 749,200 patients that year. With a child dying every 58 seconds somewhere in the world, household air pollution such as boilers, stove, tobacco smoke, dust, mold and pollen, pesticide, chemical building materials like paint have contributed to more than half of all pneumonia cases in children worldwide. Other triggers that contribute to respiratory health and air pollution-related pneumonia include outdoor pollution such as power plants, fossil fuels, waste burning, chemical industries, automotive exhaust, chemical fertilizers, and many more. Being very prevalent in low and middle income countries like Africa, the sub-Saharan continent bears an estimated 50%. A 7-year-old people by name Tato Brandy has been allegedly shot dead by a police officer this afternoon in Bamenda, northwest region of the country. According to report, the police officer was chasing a pickup vehicle around New Road Quen when he fired shots while on the move that missed the target and hit the people who was returning from school. These news have left the victim's mother, who is a fruit seller, in a state of shock, choking tears and speechless. Angry youths of New Road Quen have taken to the street to protest, carrying the corpse of the 7-year-old people alongside peace plant. Reports also confirms that officers stationed in front of Dreamlike Bar have all fled, with the perpetrator of the act leaving the inhabitants in hard tears as they walk from upstation to Bamenda in protest. It should be recalled that it is barely 2 days to complete a month that Caroline Enongdiale, a pupil in Boya, was equally murdered by a uniformed officer that fateful Tuesday on her way to school in the southwest region of the country.
Now, Stand Up for Cameroon Human Rights Working Group has said the number of human rights violations in Cameroon during the month of October was significantly rise. The body made public a human rights report for the month of October during a press conference today in Douala, Cameroon. Get full details in the following report. 105 deaths have been recorded in Cameroon during the month of October 2021 as a result of violence and human rights violation in crisis areas. Out of the 105 deaths registered, 73 were as a result of the Anglophone crisis, 30 in the fight against Boko Haram, and 2 in other situations of violence. The statistics were presented this 12th day of November in Douala by the platform Stand Up for Cameroon Human Rights Working Group.
Our country is faced with multiple conflicts. We have conflicts from the north and southwest region. Out of 10 regions, we have about 4 regions that are being affected, and this has really brought our country to a fragile state. So for this month, as usual, we had facts from the field. We had 79 incidents of violence that took place. We had 105 people who were killed. We had 177 who were illegally arrested. We have 20 people who were kidnapped, and out of those 20 who were kidnapped, about 15 of them are teachers, which calls for concern.
The report for the month of November also featured cases of human rights violation justice has not been brought to.
We have the situation of Garbu, which we evoked, the situation of Kuba up to today, and that of Buya that recently occurred. Up to today, we've not had any concrete feedback from the government with respect to this situation, and all we are asking as citizens is that we need light to be brought to this situation.
The Human Rights Working Group equally decries government's move on compulsory administration of COVID-19 vaccines on citizens.
We talked a little bit about the compulsory vaccination of COVID. We are saying that, yeah, it is good that we be vaccinated, but it should not be compulsory, because we would prefer that the government should open a debate with the citizens to make sure that everybody is okay with it, and forcing the citizens, to us in this working group, doesn't sound real. Cameroonians have lost so much confidence in their government, and I think that's why they are forcing them, whereas it was not supposed to be in that case.
As concerns violence on our highways, the Human Rights Working Group urged government to upgrade law enforcement intervention approaches.
We also have the situation of the violence on the roads, which occurred so many times, and lately it took the life of Caro, who lost her life. It is as a result of bad governance. It is as a result of a poor system we have in place. And we see that the road users are complaining with respect to what the security forces are doing on the road. We are not saying that they should remove the security forces on the road. We need them so well, so badly, but we need them to respect our rights.
With at least 736 people killed since the beginning of 2021, over 209 kidnapped, and at least 62 fires and explosions observed, and the clashes between defense and security forces and non-state armed groups, including Boko Haram and separatist groups, the Human Rights Working Group called on government of Cameroon and armed groups to respect rights of all citizens and end all forms of violence. Now, Honorable Kavaye Jibril has challenged internally displaced traditional rulers from the northwest and southwest regions who fled their chiefdoms to return home. The House Speaker made the call during the opening of the third ordinary session of Parliament on November 11, 2021 in Yaoundé. Jaingang completes the story.
The opening session of Parliament was marked by key messages and calls from Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Kavaye Jibril, while addressing the House of Chamber during a plenary sitting to mark the start of the third ordinary session for the 2021 legislative year. Honorable Kavaye Jibril, himself a traditional ruler, urged internally displaced rulers from the northwest and southwest regions to return to their palaces. His reasons to contribute to the restoration of peace in the two restive regions.
I cannot possibly judge in their state what is best under present circumstances, but I wish to humbly remind them that they have the binding duty to work in synergy with government authorities to contribute their quota in return to normalcy and in the task of restoring the authority of the state in their respective chiefdoms.
Honorable Kavaye Jibril equally called for a sense of patriotism among Cameroonians before and during the African Cup of Nations, a competition the country is set to host come January 2022.
J'exerce les différentes instances nationales chargées de l'organisation à faire également preuve de patriotisme
This is an opportunity for lawmakers to appeal to the legendary hospitality of Cameroonians, to their patriotism, because we must give the best image of our country. Therefore, any activity or action aimed at tarnishing the image of Cameroon must be stopped. I particularly commend a sound management of the competition at all levels and in all areas. We want AFCON that is sweet, not bitter. To all players, especially those who will come from abroad, I am already telling them, welcome to Cameroon.
D'ailleurs, je leur dis déjà, welcome to Cameroon.
The ongoing parliamentary session is devoted to the examination and adoption of the 2022 state budget. Ministers thus have a period of 1 month to present and defend their respective budgets before the Budget and Finance Committee.
Now, authorities of the Douala City Council today held a plenary session for the third ordinary session of the Council for the 2021 legislative year. The session, which took place at the site of Fed Aqua, was dedicated to the evaluation of the level of execution of the Council budget for the year 2021 and orientations for the budgetary exercise 2022. Let's now have an excerpt of Douala City Mayor Roger Mbassadine. On
a good way to improve the living condition of the inhabitants of Douala. First step is to prepare the Douala City to host the next AFCON, and we are ready. We are just waiting to the end of the rainy season to start with some works. For the midterm, we are on the way to launch a lot of works next year, roads, bridge, and so on, to improve the mobility in the city. It is important to improve the living condition of the population, and that's what we are trying to do. The budget will be probably higher than this year. This year we are at about 65 billions. We hope to be next year at a level a little bit higher, but we are confident that we are on the good way.
Douala City Mayor speaking shortly after today's plenary session. Now, Cameroon has successfully conducted its first ever kidney transplant operation. The operation was performed Wednesday, November 10 at the Yaoundé General Hospital on a 34-year-old patient by a team of surgeons from the country and abroad. Audrey Zaza completes the story.
For many years, hemodialysis has been the only treatment option for patients in Cameroon with kidney failures. But henceforth, things will change as the first ever kidney transplant in the country has been carried out by a team of experienced surgeons from Cameroon and abroad at the Yaoundé General Hospital. The patient in need of the kidney transplant, identified as Bertrand Balogog, received one Wednesday, November 10, from his brother Yves Balogog. Two operations which turned out to be successful. Both surgeries went on successfully. We carried out a kidney removal surgery on the donor and a kidney transplant on the recipient. We are satisfied with the result. A team of medical doctors were trained for these operations to be successful. We trained a whole team at the General Hospital: neurologists, surgeons, anesthesiologists, a paramedical team that participated in this intervention. I would equally like to congratulate our colleagues from abroad who came to reinforce the team. We believe that this is not a one-time activity. We are taking off and we are going to move forward. When performing a kidney transplant, the main concern is with the donor, and in this case, he is expected to recover within a week. The donor should recover within a week or so. When we do a kidney transplant from a living donor, the first concern is with the donor because it is absolutely essential that no damage is done to the donor. So, donors are always carefully selected to be sure that after donating a kidney, they will live a normal life and that having one kidney will have no effect on their kidney function. And that was the case with this patient. This first ever kidney transplant has given hopes to many kidney failure patients. We have over 250 chronic dialysis patients, so every week they come in and everyone has been waiting for this opportunity. I can tell you that since the patient went to the operation ward, more than 20 have come to me to say they are ready. As this operation was a trial procedure, it is not clear yet how much it will cost. But doctors at the National Hospital hope to make the operation affordable for Cameroonians so patients in need of transplant can benefit.
Community leaders in Bamenda too have taken firm commitment to promote peace in their various communities. The commitment was taken during a peace-building workshop at the Bamenda 2 Council organized by BHAB and her partners. Charles Akeba completes the story from Bamenda.
Community leaders in the Bamenda 2 municipality, November 11, 2021, at the Bamenda 2 Council Hall, made fervent commitment to promote peace and conflict transformation in their respective communities during a peace-building workshop organized by BHAF, the Bindumlum Humanitarian Organization, and her partners, funded by the Swiss Embassy Yaoundé, on providing space for an increased citizen participation and civic engagement as major tool for conflict transformation and peace building in shattered communities by the crisis.
That is in their communities. For example, in Bamenda 2, we are aware of the continuous kidnapping, the continuous killings, this endless ghost town that is affecting the entire population. And we know also that Bamenda 2 is one of the most populated areas in Bamenda.
Community leaders were empowered on necessary tools and skills on how to mobilize the most needed results and resources.
Solutions can come from outside. The community leaders believe that solutions can only come from them. So we believe that after this, community leaders will go back, being aware of what is happening in their communities, the impact they will have now that voice to address the crisis. And above all, we want to journey with them as a family, as a people who believe that the voices of local people in peace building is primordial.
Emphasis on the results and positive impacts from the community leaders. Madame Bibiana Drambong, CEO of BHAF, moved the community leaders by sharing her Rwanda experience, advised people should embrace peace, for we have the power to imagine better and speak power against violence.
Peace, they will be able to speak power to all those that are causing this trouble to them. And another outcome that we are expecting is that people will stand up against any act of violence in the community. As leaders, they will stand up as one voice, as a force to curb the violence, because nobody knows when this crisis will end.
A peace-building workshop, timely and most needed initiative for the population affected by the devastating impact of the armed conflict. Bamenda 2 First Deputy Mayor charged the people of Bamenda 2 to join BHAF and preach peace in their homes, neighborhood, and communities.
We stay in the northwest region where the mayor of Bamenda 2 Council, Chenwi Peter, has handed over the newly constructed building to host the Bamenda 2 Women Empowerment Center burned down in 2017. The building is worth over 20 million francs CFA, as Charles Akeba tells us from Bamenda.
A newly constructed building to host the Bamenda 2 Women's Empowerment and Family Center burnt down in 2017 caused by the Anglophone crisis have a new phase with a new building and equipment. Works carried out by the Bamenda 2 Council, the newly constructed building officially handed over November 11, 2021 to the Women's Empowerment Center, Bamenda 2.
Today, if you look at the head of state has appointed a lot of women in power. There are a lot of workers that have authority that have managed to build this region. But when we come as a local council, we see these people suffering outside under the umbrella because their structure was burnt. It's not normal.
Mayor Chenwi Peter of the Bamenda 2 Council handing over the newly constructed structure accompanied with the following items: executive chairs, tables with drawers, gas cooker with 4 burners and an oven, a gas bottle with gas, complete set of computer, step-down transformer, Molonex mixer, cooking pot, stainless 4 pieces, and sewing machines, handing over the newly constructed building and equipment worth over 20 million to the Women's Empowerment Center, Bamenda 2, in the presence of the DO for Bamenda 2, who inaugurated the building via cutting the ribbon in the name of decentralization. Mayor Chenwi Peter, mayor of the Bamenda 2 Council, appreciated the contractor for works done, said the project coming from the public investment budget should be judiciously used. To the mayor, the Women's Empowerment Center has a major role to play in the fight against unemployment.
This center has a vital role to play in this region. You know, we're talking about unemployment of youth. Now, with this center, you see the department of ICT, where they train on computer, the department of catering services, hotel management, and the rest, tailoring. So you see, they train and they go out and they assist the community. So what on the this center has a major role to play in the community.
Appreciating government's effort through the Bamenda 2 Council, the chief of center, Ndongmu Franklin, disclosed since the center was set ablaze in 2017 with equipment worth over 100 million has been a great challenge moving on. But with the assistance from the Bamenda 2 Council and its mayor is proof the council have the women at heart.
The event of this structure is giving us a smile once more to think that, to believe that the government, through the mayor of Bamenda 2 Council, has the Bamenda 2 municipality at heart, and especially the women.
The Bamenda 2 Council Women's Empowerment Center since 2017, it should be noted, have been managing with makeshift structures and today proud of a newly constructed building for the center will boost the productivity as the mayor, Choni Peter, and the DDO for Bamenda 2 promise next to assist more.
And the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon are in Johannesburg ahead of the Cameroon-Malawi World Cup qualifier on Saturday, November 13, 2021 in South Africa. The Lions must win the game in order to grab a ticket to the World Football Tournament. Eileen Summer with details right ahead.
The Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, who left their den on Wednesday, November 10, 2021 at 6:30 p.m., took off from the Yaoundé Simalen International Airport in the nation's capital at 6:30 p.m., landed on South African soil 12:25 a.m. Thursday, ahead of the qualifier against Malawi, scheduled for Saturday, November 13, 2021. The Lions, who are expected to win this encounter against the Malawi counterparts, expressed readiness and determination to give their best for the match, which they described as crucial while on board their flight to South Africa. The delegation, comprising officials from the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education and those of the Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT, was warmly received upon arrival in South Africa by the First Secretary of Cameroon's Embassy in South Africa. It is worth mentioning that the boys of Antonio Conceição, coach of the national football team of Cameroon, will have to play without the forward player Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting, who tested positive for COVID-19. They will also have to play without midfielders Koundé Malong and Ivan Neyo, plus defenders Harold Mukundi and Jean-Charles Castelot due to injury and family reasons. The Lions must win the match to take part in the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar.
And Eileen Summers' report concludes the 6:30 p.m. edition of News on My Media Prime Television. Coming up next is Prime Hour with Kum Leonard and his team from Tex Global. My name is Fon Quinter. Have a great weekend in the company of more programs on The African Eye. Good night.
La star internationale Chalon Dipanda s'engage aux côtés de ses compatriotes pour une cause noble, s'il en est. En partenariat avec l'Union camerounaise de brasserie UCB, qui depuis plus de 2 ans maintenant distribue de l'eau dans les quartiers à fort stress hydrique de Douala, en même temps qu'elle accompagne ce type d'initiative dans d'autres villes, La diva donne de sa personne et se joint à cette initiative.
L'eau est très importante dans la vie de chacun d'entre nous. Et quoi de plus honorable que de voir des gens à qui on vient donner cette part de vie qui est si importante. Donc, on devrait saluer l'initiative que Madiba a eue de vraiment être proche des gens. C'est vraiment une eau qui est proche au cœur de la terre, comme le slogan le dit, que l'eau potable arrive vraiment encore plus près dans la vie des gens au quotidien.
Ravi de la présence de la diva de la chanson camerounaise auprès d'elle, c'est avec une immense joie que les populations de Douala se sont vues accompagner pendant toute une journée. Une proximité qui, pour tous, est un grand signe de simplicité et d'authenticité.
L'impression est plutôt bonne avec cette campagne de distribution d'eau par la société UCB à travers son produit Madiba. Ça fait 1 an que nous recevons cette eau ici. Nous avons des tuyaux là, mais ça ne donne pas de l'eau. Mais nous disons merci à Madiba. Merci beaucoup.
Bien que le quartier soit enclavé, nous avons été choisis. Et tout ce que nous pouvons dire, c'est un grand merci parce que par le passé, nous avons souffert du problème d'eau. Mais depuis l'arrivée de Madiba, nous sommes en haut 3 à 4 fois par semaine, nous ravitaillons.
J'apprécie déjà ce que Madiba fait pour nous. Étant donné que nous avions des difficultés avec de l'eau potable, ça fait plus de 6 mois que Madiba nous procure de l'eau. 2 fois par semaine depuis un très bon moment. Alors nous disons grandement merci. Nous vous encourageons à aller de l'avant et que le Seigneur vous bénisse.
Cette distribution d'eau apportera encore une fois un plus dans les ménages et aidera les habitants à avoir une eau potable à disposition pour lutter contre les maladies hydriques. Une expérience unique pour Charlotte Dipanda qui a ainsi l'opportunité de mettre en pratique la gentillesse et la simplicité qu'elle démontre toujours. L'eau potable est une denrée qui devrait être disponible pour tous. Produite et embouteillée par l'UCB depuis 19 ans déjà, la marque Madiba veut contribuer au bien-être des populations à travers ses valeurs de qualité et de partage.
Dans le commun, dans la vision de tout humain, ouvrir un robinet chez soi quand on a soif d'eau devrait être quelque chose de naturel et pas de si mythique que ça. Donc ces gens qui viennent à travers Madiba recevoir de l'eau potable, ce serait quand même bien que chez eux ils aient accès à l'eau potable. J'espère vraiment en tout cas c'est ce que je leur souhaite. Heureusement que Madiba aujourd'hui apporte cette solution à la population. Moi je trouve que c'est émouvant, mais il faudrait que les choses évoluent, s'améliorent.
Chaque jour, l'Union camerounaise de brasserie continue d'augmenter l'échelle géographique de couverture en faveur des zones dites difficiles à travers 4 citernes d'une contenance chacune de 26 000 litres d'eau Madiba qui sillonnent les artères de la ville de Douala pour distribuer le précieux liquide. L'eau minérale Madiba est au cœur de la vie des populations pour un corps sain et pour être plus fort face aux défis de la vie au quotidien.
Welcome to a new world of TV broadcasting. My Media Prime. News, discovery, culture, sports,